perfect example of what happens when you don't feed your fish right. And hippo tanks, the regal tank, they're notorious for getting head and lateral line erosion. I'm sure all of you have heard that. Sorry, while we're doing that, we'll let that soak. We got this. Straining this stuff is going to be pretty important because of all of the byproducts that are in it. But like I said, I wish I had some Piscine to show you guys the difference. You can do this at home though. You can try the Hikari and then do the Piscine. But you can see that water is not real cloudy. The Piscine will turn the water brown. I mean literally turn it brown, so I don't sell it. You guys can get that wherever. Do the Hikari though, it's a good food. These are bioavailable too. They are enriched, but not like the soaks. I mean, they process these things fast. They're processing this stuff so fast. They're not interested in soaking it, but they do encapsulate it when they process it. It doesn't stick though, because you're freezing it. So it really is. I mean, it doesn't defeat the purpose, but it doesn't enable it as well as a food soak. So
what kind of byproducts do you have in there?
I mean, there's all kind of waste there. I mean, you've got phosphates, that are in the processing. You've got byproducts that come from the waste of the shrimp. Because I mean, when these guys are alive when they harvest them, and then they're putting them in big vats, and they're just all the waste. Because I mean, when you die, you're gonna waste. So
all the molds.
Yeah, all of it. The sheds, the molds, everything's in there. So you want to get rid of that. I mean, if you can take the mice's water and leave it out overnight, just the water. Worse than any skimmer, and that's what you're putting in your tank. If you're just breaking off a chunk, you're tossing it in there, or even you're thawing it out and then just dumping it. All that byproduct's going in there, and your skimmer's not getting it all, but everything in the tank is absorbing those phosphates and all the different byproducts that are in these packings. We want to definitely rinse the cubes. I know the cubes are easy, They just pop them out and chunk them in the tank, but I would still rinse them because they're processed and packaged the same way. They're just made for ease of use. That's looking good. I know we went over pretty much the Zocon, but I'm gonna touch on a little bit more. We all know it's got the omega-3s. That's going to be one of the main ingredients in all the food soaps. The omega-3s because they are so important. Touched on how it helps with the heart function and all that. It is EPA and DHA enriched. I can't pronounce them. I can try. You probably know they're both acids. EPA and DHA are acids, and they are the main thing in the omega-3s. Deficiency omega-3 and lateral line erosion. That's going to be the most. That's going to be the one that you see most. If they're deficient in this fatty acid, they're going to get it. It's not when, it's not if, it's when. And you're going for longevity on these fish. I mean, you're not just going to get them for a year and they're gone. I mean, some of these fish we've had for 10 or more years. So you're in this hobby, you're going to feed the fish, you want to keep them for a long period of time, especially when you're spending a lot of money on them. The immune system is going to build that up. It's going to stimulate the appetite, and we talk about that. Now, this is not only good for the fish, it's going to do the inverts too. So the invertebrates that eat it, it's going to help them to molt and everything else, like we talked about that. I think that's pretty much all on the Zocon. Mainly your omegas and your lipids. That's going to be the main thing on that. Pretty much got this guy ready. And I can't make them suffer. I mean, you need to give it in 10 minutes is pretty good. If you got the dry seaweed and you do the mixture and you let it soak it up so it's not soupy, it's pretty much in there. And as fast as the fish eat it, it doesn't have a chance to sit in the water column and dissipate back into the water. I mean, these guys are gonna, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have a chance. I mean, if your fish eat like this, you can soak it just long enough to absorb it, and you're good.
I know. Teasing your fish, Jeff.
So I mean, it'll be gone before it hits the bottom. Like you see, the flounder even likes it. If you trick them, I'll make a little ball of it, and I'll trick them. It'll think it's a piece of meat. There it goes. All right, the longer you soak it, obviously, the more it's going to really absorb in there. But at least 5-10 minutes. If you mix it like that, if you mix it soupy, it's not going to absorb at all. It's just going, it's still going to be dissipated in the free flow liquid that's still in there. So we want to do that. And they'll just eat. So this is why I set up here. These guys, they're one of the best ones. We just about got this thawed out. it up a little bit. Now, fine mesh net. If you use the green one with the thicker holes, it's going to fall through. You're going to lose a lot of it. Because I mean, there's eyes. The eyes, you know, pop off these guys when they're in there, and those are good source of protein. So we want to keep the eyes. So do a fine mesh. Real easy. Squeeze out. Don't mash it so it mushes it all up. Just squeeze it out. Look at all that. It's a lot of byproduct there. Back in. You take that. Let that fall, but you can see that water. That's nasty. You don't want that. That's all going in your tank. You figure that's only one pack, and you're feeding this every day. You know, a lot of you're feeding it, you know, every day, sometimes twice a day, however much you're doing. Now this is a real good one to use the Zoe Marine. We're going to do on this one because this one's already got the omegas in it. It's not a huge concentration, but it does have it in it because it is a plankton, so it's got fatty acids in it. Now we're back here. Zoe Marine. All right, I'm sure you all seen this one too. It's in my fridge. We use it just like the rest of them every day. Zoe Marine's going to be a little more complex. A few more things in this one. This one's got a lot of bioavailable vitamins and minerals and amino acids. The aminos help for the absorption of those bioavailable minerals, and they also act as a bonding agent to help the fish absorb it. So the aminos, without the aminos, the vitamins and the minerals won't be bioavailable. They'll be there, but they'll just dissipate. They'll be passed through the system, and they won't be absorbed. So the aminos are what's going to help them absorb it, bonds it all together. Alright, vitamin A. A lot of vitamin A in here. Vitamin A is actually a nutrient, and it's a family of fat-soluble vitamins bound together by the amino acids. Most of all, retinol and beta-carotene. Everyone knows beta-carotene. Good for us. And you'll find a lot of these we take as dietary supplements because our bodies don't produce them. The fish don't produce them either. They have to eat them. They have to consume them and ingest them, and they have to be able to absorb it and process it in their system. We'll do the green cell on this one. So we got it. It's drained out. If there's a little bit in there, it's not going to hurt it, but I don't like there to really be any leftover byproduct water. Shake it up good. Same thing. You can measure it out. It usually goes in milliliters or tenths of milliliters, drops. You know, you can use a little millimeter syringe or whatever. We're just going to give it just enough to get in there and saturate it. So now we strained it, we thawed it, we strained it, we squeezed out the excess. Now it's ready to absorb and grab up whatever food soap we're going to use on it. You can use whatever you want on it. You can put the omega in here with it, but it already has it. So really, we're going to use the omega on this one for today. But you can do them, you can alternate, you can mix them up, you can mix them together, you know, you can do separate ones, separate days, however. And while that's soaking, we're going to let that soak for a little bit, and these guys have been staring at me, so I'm going to give them a little, been soaked a little while, same thing. Be shy. Nice when he gets it. Now you can see this regal tank. Great color, no head and lateral line erosion, nice and fat. It'll come out. I'm being a little scared. And that's about all you want to put in there at one time. You know, just what the fish are going to eat. I mean, some of it's going to float around, but you've all seen that hippo before. He's gorgeous. I sold that to a buddy of mine a year ago, a couple inches, outgrew his tank. He did the right thing. He brought it in, traded for something else, got him out of the condition was not right for him anymore, so we got him out. And I told him that when he first got it, and he listened. You know, a year later, he captured the fish, we brought him in. And he looks like that because I schooled him on this feed.